102. Happy Monday, Nasties. How you doing out there? EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, Zach Kubish, the producer, in the house. It indeed is return of the Mac. The Mac Daddy. McDavid is back tonight after 3 games off due to a suspension as they host the Seattle Kraken. 7:30 puck drop, so it's a little bit later, a little weird start time for a Monday. We're going to get to a lot of Oilers here, a lot of NFL as the Super Bowl is set, and that's all I got to say about that, Gager. And we're going to have some fun throughout the show. Like always, 140, Al Kinisky. He's the radio color analyst for the Seattle Kraken. Gager's childhood friend will join us at 140. And we'll get a good idea of what's going on with Seattle. The Oilers have played them. I think, is this the first matchup? No, it's the second matchup, I think, here, Gager. This is terrible. I wrote it down, but let me check here. Yeah, they won back on January 4th. Sorry about that to all our listeners. Like always, hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Text us at the River Korean Box, 780-218-9999. And if you're listening, iHeart or the TuneIn radio apps. And if you're watching, it's the YouTube channel. And slam that thumbs up. Let's get to 100 thumbs up for the return of Connor McDavid. But Gager, you want to get to something that annoyed you that Tommy said on the All Stream here.
Oh, there's a lot of things that annoy me about Tommy over this weekend. I mean, we can start with the self-proclaimed hockey booty. I mean, Tommy's butt couldn't fill out a form, let alone a pair of jeans, all right? I don't know where this is coming from. Hockey booty. That's amazing. I think there's been too much praise of Tom Gazzola around these parts, and someone needs to burst this bubble that his head is in. And okay, you know what really made me mad?
What's that?
On the post-game show, Tom Gazzola, oh my God, this guy, and he goes on and says something to the effect of, I sent a text to Gager. He responded rudely. He did this. He's part of the Sportsnet crowd. I guess I'm not. Tom Gazzola left out a key part of this whole story.
What is
that
it?
is complete crap. All right. So when we first came, like on Friday, whatever, Tommy goes to me and goes, hey, Joaquin, why don't you come over to my place? We'll have a few laughs. It'll be great stuff before the game. We'll have fun. And I'm like, yeah, Tommy, hey, that sounds great. So it's cold. Wind's blowing through the downtown. I got to park far away. I'm freezing, walking over, go to his house. I punch in the code. I try to go, and crickets. Doesn't answer. Doesn't buzz me in. And I'm waiting outside, and I wait, and maybe he's coming because I knew he was coming from somewhere else. So I'm standing outside, freezing, parts of my anatomy off. And then nothing. So I go to the rink. I get a text later saying, hey, Gage, sorry about that, whatever. And then so at the end of the third period, he sends the pity invite. Hey, what are you doing after the game? Why don't you come over and we'll hang out for the post game and then maybe go to the ice house afterwards. I'm 51 years old, right? I'm wearing a 3-piece suit. I don't need to be rolling into Brew House, this old guy in a 3-piece suit on a Saturday afternoon. Everyone going, who's this clown, right? So I sent a text to Tommy. I go, Tommy, on my way home, I'm too old to be wearing a suit to the ice house. It wasn't evil. It was just how I felt.
Yeah.
And so he didn't say one thing about not letting me in after inviting me to his place. So don't give me, hey, little crack in the back, Tom Gazzola with his so-called hockey booty. Let's get the record straight here. This guy's a loser right now. Absolute loser.
Wow. Oh, boy. Gager's fired up. I never thought Tommy saying he had a hockey booty would fire up so much, Tom. I mean, Gager. But it's when you have a nice booty, you don't say it yourself. You let other people compliment
Who says that? Who says that? Oh, my sweet little hockey booty and my tight shorts on the hangout. Sorry. Yeah, he's giving everyone, my gosh.
Oh, boy. That might be Rant of the Year right there. Put it in the Excel spreadsheet there, a young Coop, for Rant of the Year. Gager's fired up. Tom Gazzola, if he's listening.
I'm done. Cool. I'm done talking about Tom Gazzola. Whatever.
VR says, take him down a peg or two, Gage.
Wow. My sweet hockey booty.
Oh,
Jesus.
Geez.
Who says that?
That surprised me. Like we both looked at each other. No, I was over there.
You were over there. Yeah.
And then you're like, did he just say that?
Did he just say that? Who says that? My God.
Oh boy, interesting times here at the EST studios. So I don't know if he brought up. I can't remember Saturday.
He didn't.
No, okay.
I listened to it twice and to see if did I miss something here. And I couldn't believe it. So that's a big part of that story, is it not? I could show you the text stream, too.
No, I believe you.
I just wrote it back. And obviously, it was a pity invite back to his place because he felt so bad all of a sudden because he didn't let me in. Or I don't know what was going on in his place. Maybe he was powdering the hockey booty. Who knows? Get that thing ready for Rogers' place for the game.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Nate the Builder. Boom goes the dynamite. Gager on fire. Love it. Bonnie Doon-Ron says, I like Bonnie Doon-Ron because he notices things on us. He says, Hernan shaved. Gager got a haircut. Will be a great week, guys.
Yeah, no.
I love the commitment that you notice that I shaved.
Well, I don't need to go to Chantel every 3 minutes to go get my hair trimmed, too. Once in a while, do it myself.
Oh, boy. That's the best 10 minutes we've had on the show in a long, long time. All right, Gager, let's get to it. Where do you want to start here? We have so much time here for Oilers. I want to get your thoughts on, I mean, good effort, valiant effort by the Commanders early on, but the Eagles were just too much.
Yeah.
That defense is good. I mean, Saquon Barkley, my.
So I was talking to Jay about that, first 2 touches are touchdowns. Yeah. That really can't happen. And I mean, even though the first one was impressive, like 60 yards for the touchdown, but I thought that the second one was way better.
Yeah.
Because I know most people, well, a lot of people that have played Madden, you can press the top bumper and it does that little juke to the side. If you watch Saquon's second touchdown, like he's running and goes completely side, it looks like he blipped over to the side and created a whole new running angle for himself. I had to rewind it and look at it again. It was amazing what he was able. That cut across was just a joke, man. And he was phenomenal. And I know everyone, they're not excited about the Super Bowl, but you have to, we're witnessing possible greatness here that has never happened in the NFL. You have to, Taylor Swift is going back to back, right? This is unbelievable. But I mean, what if KC can win 3 in a row? It's amazing.
It's like as sports radio broadcaster guys, like that's what we live for. It's to see, like, hey, when we're older and we're done and we're retired, hey, I was alive. I was doing radio when this team won 3 in a row, and it's not so much that you hate them. It's like you're just sick of it. Like, because Patrick Mahomes is elite. Like,
he's so elite.
I mean, Chris Jones on the defensive side, what a beast. But back to that game, like Saquon's an easy guy to cheer for. He's a humble, nice guy. Like, you love it. I just can't stand their coach, and I hate this final because as a Niners fan, you don't like the Eagles, and the Chiefs have beat you twice in your last 2. So for me, it's like, a little bit of wants me to the Eagles to win, but right now, Gage, I don't care who wins because this is like the worst matchup for Hernan. I hate it.
I don't know who I want to win. Really, it's I mean, there'll obviously be the undertones of the Kelsey brothers. Who is his brother going to cheer for? And I mean, it was I was a little bit upset, but when you look at it. Jackson and losing, Lamar not getting it done. That kind of hurt. I thought it was his year, really, but he didn't perform, and then Josh Allen although I thought he played a good game, just couldn't get it done. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he's the GOAT right now.
Someone posted Allen's numbers in the playoffs. He plays great. It's not on him.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. He does play great, but still, I don't care what the stats say. At the end of the day, that's what I say about goaltending, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to the best stat of all. I don't care if you have the best stats ever. If it doesn't have a one beside the W and it has it beside the L, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
No, I know. And listen, that last play, everybody's like, why didn't you go left to Shakir? But the pressure was in his face. And Kincaid has a shot at it. He has to make that catch.
Yeah.
Like, he has to. And you look at a lot of things, Gager, in that game, the Chiefs and Bills, like, I'm sorry, like, on the 4th and 1, and the Bills didn't get it, and they went to review, they got it. Like, every replay shows he crossed the line for the first down. I'm so tired of that. And then, but I also look at this, Gager. Like, for me, like, coaches overthink it, man. Like, you're second and goal, you're first and goal from the 2-yard line, and you just overthink it. It takes them forever. And then, if it wasn't for Cook making a spectacular play, they're stopped again, Gager.
Yeah. I don't know why it comes down to trying to. And you gotta hand it to Andy Reid a little bit. Like, he puts together plays, and I forget who we had on the show talk about it. Like, he puts stuff together at the beginning of the season with the foresight if he's going to run these same types of things, but run something completely different off them. So, coaches look at this and they say, okay, well, this is what they did here. And it's like he throws his whole playbook out. This is what I'm hearing from people. And it's just, he's part of the enigma too. Like, although he's got great players, but he is designing these plays to throw the other team off. And it seems like they can never adjust. Well, and you know what? Like, the Chiefs have been in tight games this whole season. All year. They don't know how to do anything differently, right? They're very comfortable in the uncomfortable. And everyone's saying, well, they're not blowing out teams, they're not doing this. This is where it shows it's way more beneficial to be in tight, hard, emotional packed games with close games and being able to get it done at the end rather than just blowing teams out, because once you feel that pressure, you got to know how to deal with it, and the Chiefs do.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now, Buffalo's defense not good on the night. They couldn't get a stop when they needed it. Like I said, I think coaching came into it a lot of weird play calling. Like, again, overthinking it on first and goal. You have Cook, run the damn ball.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, the guy's a beast. He's amazing. And you got to give credit to the Chiefs. Yes, they have brilliant coordinators. They just know how to get it done. But I feel bad for Josh Allen because he's been brilliant. Every time he's out in that game, he's been
performed.
Brilliant.
And it's tough because I understand the one and done game. Anything can happen, and like, even if over a series, like if it was a best of 5, I would think the better team would eventually show itself. That's why hockey's great with this 7-game series. You really find out who is the better team over that time. But all you need is a huge performance from one or two guys, and it can put you over the top in those one and done situations. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting because I saw a lot online yesterday saying it's time for the coach to move on. I mean, he's a good coach. He gets them there all the time. He has a lot of skill and talent on his team, but you got to be able to get over that hump eventually. Who knows? As long as, and this is the craziest thing, Mahomes is still young.
Oh, I know. And does this, in your eyes, like, and I think they were talking about this on the morning show, does this put him in the GOAT category if he gets 3 done here? Like,
I think so.
Does he become when you say Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes is right there?
He has to be. No one's ever done 2 in a row.
I know,
man.
Yeah. Like, that's, even though Tom has way more, well, who knows for how much longer. But I think you have to, don't you?
I think so. I don't know. It's interesting. Rip City Step says Reed and Spags a tough pair to outcoach at this point. Yeah, it's true. Defensive coordinator there.
Yeah,
he's absolutely brilliant. I just quickly Easy saying Skinner scratched. He's not scratched. So let's pump the brakes. They're expecting their second child, and he has the night off because it could happen at any moment.
He was phenomenal. Against the Buffalo Sabres.
They don't win that game without Stuart Skinner.
Second period, and even like it all started, And I was talking to the crew when I was doing the game with Gene, and we were talking. Skinner made, I believe, I don't know if it was Tuck. Was it Tuck? No, it wasn't. The first save of the game, anyway. It was a pretty quick play, and he stopped the first one, and it was a really good save. And those types of saves, if you can get one of those early, it locks you in quick. And he was locked in after that, man. It was great performance by Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, he was great. I just wanted to say that because, Jeff Skinner, he says, yes, sorry about that. My bad. I read that wrong. I forgot Jeff Skinner's on the team. And, well, I didn't. But we talked about this post-game because McDavid returning, we said, who comes out of the lineup?
Yeah.
And everybody said Jeff Skinner, even though he scored a goal, was on the first power play. Now, it will get all to it, but I just want to get back to the NFL quickly here. Sorry, Easy. I'm apologizing to you on air. Sorry, I thought you said Stuart Skinner. It was Jeff Skinner. Apologies to Easy. Love the handle. One of my favorite rap artists. Anyways, yeah, he's going to be in the GOAT conversation regardless because he's gone to 3 straight. KD says Bills equals Oilers, all the talent in the world, but just can't get that championship. I disagree because the Oilers have made the championship game series.
Yeah.
And they were 1 win away, and they still can get there, and they have a lot of time. Their best players are they're in their prime. So this team still has chances. As do the Buffalo. What's going on here? My mic keeps going off and on here. Sorry, I couldn't hear myself there.
I can hear myself now.
Yeah. Now I'm like really loud.
Yeah,
like my ears are about to explode.
Yeah,
so I don't know what's going on back there, young Coob. But early on, I mean, we're going to break this game down for the next 2 weeks. We'll be at the Century Casino Fort Road, $10 menu.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kind of cheering to see the three-peat, or do you not want to see it?
It's weird because it always gets to a point for me sometimes when a superstar is coming on and they go up against the vet I always cheer for greatness.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of dynasties. And so I might become a Chiefs fan in a couple weeks here just to see if they can do it. You know, it's impressive to me. And usually if I want a team to win in the NFL, they usually lose. So that could make people real happy.
I like Jalen Hurts. I like Saquon Barkley as well. So it's going to be tough for me because both teams have kind of, like the Eagles just make me mad, and then the Chiefs have taken out my Niners in the big game. But up next, we will get to the Edmonton Oilers line combination, who's in, who's out. And at 1:40, Al Kinisky from the Seattle Kraken radio broadcast team will join us to talk about the Kraken, see what they've been up to here since the last time these two teams met. Oilers talk. We'll also hear from Connor McDavid. All that fun stuff, Gager. Lots to get to regarding the Edmonton Oilers. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. Keep hammering that thumbs up, and we'll be back after the break. Here's Coob with your sports update.
Connor McDavid returns to the Oilers fresh off his 3-game suspension to take on the Kraken, and you can join Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they get you set for the action during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6:30, only on EST. 4 other games around the NHL has the Canucks dropping the puck against the Blues, LA in Detroit, Philly hosting the Devils, and the Penguins butting heads with the Sharks. And back in Pittsburgh, Evgeny Malkin hits the injured reserve as he left Saturday's game against the Kraken after absorbing a knee-on-knee collision. In response, the Pens have recalled Jesse Puljujärvi from the AHL. And Logan Thompson has agreed to a 6-year contract extension with the Capitals worth just under $6 million a season. Meanwhile, Scott Perunovich of the Blues has been traded to the Islanders in exchange for a 5th-rounder in next year's draft. And on the court, there's 12 games with the Raptors meeting the Pelicans, the Grizzlies throwing it down against the Knicks, the Rockets facing the Celtics, and the Clippers battling the Suns. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since '93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course they sell plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. More with Hernan and Gager on the other side of the break here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
123 here on EST Afternoons. Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west side of the city. Text us on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999, or hit us up on the Nasty Chat. And if you're on the EST YouTube channel, slam that thumbs up. Let's get to 100 for the return of El Capitan, Mr. Connor McDavid. Gager, let's get to the Edmonton Oilers coming off a 3-2 win. Not their best game, but they were able to pull it out. Nuge with a good game.
Yep.
I thought Stuart Skinner was excellent. Tonight, they host the Kraken. 7:30 start. The captain returns. Jeff Skinner is out, as Easy let me know earlier. These were the lines today at practice. Draisaitl with McDavid and Hyman. Podkolzin with Enrique and Arvidsson. Janmark with RNH and Brown. Perry, Philp, Kapanen are your fourth line, which means Jeff Skinner is a healthy scratch. Bouchard, Ekholm, Emberson, Stetcher. Kulak, Bouchard, Ekholm, Emberson, Stetcher, Regula. But reports are that Nurse was a little under the weather, but should play tonight, so don't read too much into that. Calvin Pickard gets a start, as Stuart Skinner is expecting his second child any day now, so he'll get the night off here. But Pickard's last 9 starts, Gager, 9-1-0, 255 goals against, 903 save percentage. Cannot complain about that. What do you make of the lines, though, going nuclear right away here?
So I'm just looking at Seattle's lineup, and to tell you the truth, and I think I was telling Reed, I understand it. Just because I don't think Seattle can handle those guys. Yeah, like who are they gonna put up against there? I mean, Beniers, Kakko, and Schwartz. I think they dominate that line, right? I would maybe the Stevenson line. You would think that they would try to go up against McDavid and Draisaitl, but still, because there's a little bit more beef on that line. I think right?
Yeah, I think it's the Stevenson line.
Yeah,
it's not your third line. It's not your fourth line.
You don't want to get those guys caught out there against them. I don't think anyway, right? So, yeah, then looking on the back end, probably
Larson done.
Yeah, I think so.
So the Oilers claimed a 4-2 win in Seattle back on January 4th to open the series. This is the second of 4 meetings. The Kraken are 3-2 in their last 5 games. They're coming off a 4-1 win over the Pens on Saturday. McCann leads their team in points with 38. Montour is their leading defenseman with 23. Joey Decord is 17, 11, 0-2. Grubauer 5. No, that can't be. Anyways, Decord's goals against is 245, save percentage 917, and Grubauer's goals against, Gager, 376, 870 save percentage.
Yeah, in the last 10 games, he's 0-3. Goals against of over 6, wow. And a save percentage of 788. So,
no, that's right.
Not having an off season.
Well, Decord's the number 1.
Yeah.
17, 11, and 2, so I was right. I know he missed some time, Gager, but I was just looking at that. Their special teams, Power play not bad at 18.8, and their penalty kill is 76.8, and the Oilers is 76.6. So interesting special teams there as well. But this is a game I'm expecting the Oilers not to roll, but to be, I guess, comfortable in. I think McDavid's going to be itching to go on this
Shot
one.
out of a cannon tonight.
Yeah. Should we hear from the captain?
Let's do it.
All right. Here is Connor McDavid as he met with the media this morning.
Obviously not used to that. How would you sort of describe the way you've been feeling for this?
Yeah, antsy to play. Excited to get going. It was a long week, just sitting around practicing, so ready to get going.
How'd you feel the team played without you? Just watching them play.
Yeah, I thought they played well. 2 wins, that's always a good thing. And
On a game night, when your routine can't be the same because you're not playing, but if you come to the rink at the same time, how did you kind of handle a game night?
just kind of a workout during the first period or so, and then just watch. I don't know. There's nothing groundbreaking. I don't know. I wish I had some crazy answer for you. Sit on the couch and watch like everyone else.
So your team tucks top of the division standings here. You're right in this fight. Maybe just talk about this stretch over the next little bit before the Four Nations and the chance to maybe hit that break right up near the top.
Yeah, it's important. I said that before. I feel like how you go into a break is important. We got 6 games here to play well, as you said, to put ourselves in a good position kind of into the break. Home ice is something that we've talked about a lot, and we feel is important in the playoffs, and being as high as you can in the standings is a good thing for that.
Sometimes watching from up top, you get a bit of a different look. What's your sort of analysis of where the group is at in some areas that you think are definitely on the list to be working on?
It's tough. I think the team's playing really well. I think defensively we were solid. I thought maybe not so much on Saturday, but Stu played great. Honestly, it seems like our biggest issue is creating some offense, generating chances. I feel like it's something that for some reason this group has struggled with kind of all year. But defensively we're as solid as we've been since I've been here.
What did you say about the way Leon played while you were in there?
They played great. The whole team played great. I don't think that's surprising. Everyone loves to talk about how the team plays when I'm not there, but the team plays well. We're a good team, no matter who's in the lineup.
The goals are starting to come in for Zach Hyman now. Do you see anything different in his game now than maybe earlier when the puck wasn't bouncing for him?
Not really. He always is kind of around the net. He's always getting looks. It's the nature of the game. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. You get a bounce here, a bounce there. He's doing a lot of really good things. So, yeah.
CC gone, some new faces in at the start of the year. Maybe the question coming into this year was, what is the blue line going to look like? How's it going to be? You just talked about it being a strength. How do you think it got there?
The D are playing well, the goalies are playing well, but I think it's team defense. I think it's everybody. It's the forwards as well. The PK being good, it helps. Had a rough start, obviously, but it's been as good. I think it's been the best in the league for a while now. I think that helps. But the back end's good, obviously led by Eki and Nursey, 2 guys that are so big and so strong and skate well and can play huge minutes. They, those 2 in particular, but all of them have played really, really well. Cooley as well. Yeah.
That was Connor McDavid meeting with the media today. He seemed a little annoyed. He's just all. He said he's antsy. He said the team plays well without him. He says they're pretty good defensively, but have to find more offense as well. Yeah, if I'm Seattle, I'm kind of. They're not going to be trembling, but they're like, no. Why do we have to come back why do we have to play them when he's coming off his 3-game suspension?
And that is probably why you see them, Coach Nabla loading them up too, right?
Yeah.
Just a re-energized Connor McDavid having a week off and just training and wanting to get back to games, a game situation, playing with his best buddy I'm sure Leon's quite happy when he sees that they're starting this way. Yeah, look out. There's going to be, if I'm a defenseman or even if I'm Leon or Zach Hyman, I'm looking to get the puck to Connor McDavid tonight, right? He's going to be something to watch. If you have tickets for tonight, you might have sore legs because I think he's going to bring you up out of your seat a few times.
He's going to be great. I like this one. Andrew E. No mention of Bush playing well defensively. LOL. Well, did you watch the Buffalo game?
Jeez, man.
I mean, this guy's just not getting it. And I'm sorry. Like, I know, we talk about players when they're struggling. That's part of the gig, and it feels like I'm piling on. But Gager, there was about 3-4 times I saw him in the defensive zone, and there's just, I don't want to say there's a lack of interest, but there's just a lack of something there because he does not want to engage.
I forget which part of, there was kind of a play, someone got in behind and went in on a breakaway. Bush got turned around a little bit, but there was it was just like everything stopped and he just watched from that point on. There was no urgency to get back. Well, okay, that guy's on a breakaway. Like, I got to get back, and maybe hopefully my goalie can make up for this, make the save, but there could be a rebound there that I can get out of the way. Like, there was no urgency at all. Like, his motivator is broken right now. He's got to find some way to get his game back. Because as we're talking about next year, what is he going to be asking for? Who is he comparing himself around the league? Like, I had a little bit on Bowen Byram because he was I used to handle that little guy as a kid, but Rasmus Dahlin, man, I was watching him all night, and that guy is all over it.
He's good.
He is good. And I believe it's around 11.5 that he makes, and that's kind of the rumblings of what Evan Bouchard wants to come in as. And I know the offensive numbers are comparable, I guess, to a point, but you cannot compare the level of effort in the defensive zone between those two players right now, right?
Well,
I do think that Evan Bouchard can get there, but it's nowhere close to what he thinks is a comparable in the NHL and what he thinks he can command for an annual salary.
Yeah, it's a good point because I agree with Van Owen. He says, I've been saying this, guys. He just doesn't seem able to recognize danger, but he did last year, Gage.
Oh, it's there. That's the frustrating
the
part, right? Like, it's at the most crucial times he found it, and not only found it, like he was so effective with it. So, but it's just I do think it's a confidence thing. I think it's just gone as soon as he gets into on the defensive side of the puck in his own zone. He looks almost lost at times, but then you see him and I think it's actually starting to creep into his offense. He doesn't look as sure of himself with the puck, like in the offensive zone. He's looking for things that just used to kind of flow and come naturally for him.
He's definitely second guessing himself.
Oh yeah,
it's one of those things where it's and maybe the contract year is getting to him. By all accounts, listen, the Oilers want to keep this guy, but they got to make the money make sense, and you can't pay a guy off 1 year or the potential that's going to come because you don't know right now. We're sitting here. It's almost the end of January, and he hasn't improved his defensive. It's either stayed the same or it's gotten a little bit worse depending on the game. This is a guy that I get what he brings offensively, and I get the analytics crew loves him.
Mm-hmm.
But the eye test, man, you can't be paying this guy $10 million. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion right now. Now, if he turns it around and becomes the player we saw him in the playoffs last year, sure. Go ahead, do it up. But right now, Gager, like I don't feel bad for them, but it's gonna be a tough negotiation because he's coming off a really good year, and this year he's having a so-so year offensively. I think you could live with it, but defensively, he's been a wreck.
Yeah, this is something he needs to find the switch. Maybe this Four Nations thing coming up will be the best thing for him, just to get away. Don't think about hockey for a couple weeks and come back and reset and things. Speaking of Four Nations, John Carlo in the Nasty Chat says, "Hi, Gager. As a former player, do you think the players who were picked for the Four Nations will be pumped to play, or will they treat it like an exhibition game? Cheers." John, I don't think these guys will treat it like an exhibition game. I think there'll be a feeling out process at the start, but once it gets down to winning, you're going to see these guys, like they're animals, and then they all want to win, especially for these countries that are participating. Hockey's huge, and you're going to see some really good hockey, especially when it gets down to the final.
I agree. I don't think these guys have been craving for this to play an international tournament, Gager.
Yeah.
Like McDavid, McKinnon, all these guys play on the same team as Crosby. So
it's not the Olympics though, and I think I remember the World Cup way back when.
Yeah.
And it seemed to ramp up as it got old. And then the other one, the more recent one, when they had the North American team, the Young Stars. Yeah, and those Young Stars were great to watch. And you could see it got ramped up a little bit each time, right? So I think it would be different in an Olympic setting just because it's different. You're in the village, you're seeing all these other athletes, you really get that sense of competing for your country a little bit more than I think you would at this thing. But no, I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, we'll continue the Four Nations because Alex Pietrangelo is out. We'll see who should replace him. And scared me there. I don't agree with Bush. I mean, if you want poor defensive play, sure. But we'll get to that as well, and we'll get to your text messages at the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light, and you can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at the CanadianBrewhouse.com. Up next, Al Kinisky, radio color analyst for the Seattle Kraken, and Joaquin's good old pal joins us here on EST Afternoons. Here's Coop with your sports update.
Calvin Pickard gets a start for the Oilers against the Kraken, and McDavid's returned from suspension. And you can tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show right here on EST alongside Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop to get you set for the game. Elsewhere, Red Wings challenge the Kings. Vancouver hits the road in St. Louis. The Devils meet the Flyers, and San Jose hosts Pittsburgh, with the Pens moving Evgeny Malkin to the injured reserve due to a lower body injury he sustained against the Kraken on Saturday, seeing Jesse Puljujärvi being recalled from Wilkes-Barre in response. Meanwhile, the Capitals have signed Logan Thompson to a 6-year extension worth a total of just over $35 million. And staying out east, the Islanders have traded a 5th-round pick in next year's draft in exchange for Scott Perunovich of the Blues. And 12 games dot the NBA slate, with the Raptors back in action against the Pelicans. The Magic tipping off with the Heat. Hornets taking on the Lakers, and the Cavs going at it against the Pistons. We have a quick break before Al Kinisky, radio color analyst of the Kraken, join EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Make a fresh start in the new year with Sentinel Storage. With convenient locations near you, Sentinel Storage is here to help you make space for everything 2024 holds. Sentinel Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
How do you beat those winter blues? How about a double shot of classic rock? River Cree Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Helix and Sweet. February 28th, live in the venue. Helix and Sweet. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it. hockey lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. Plus, you can win game tickets and a surf and turf dinner for two at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Welcome back to EST Afternoons. Apologies, we just had some cookies that were dropped off by a wonderful listener, Gage, and they're fantastic.
They're very good.
Just killed the bit of a lunch there. I didn't bring lunch today, Gage. So.
Fill up on cookies.
Those cookies were fantastic. So big shout out to, I got to get the name. I'll get it.
We'll get it after this.
Yeah. But Edmonton Oilers in action tonight as they take on the Seattle Kraken. Will be joined by Al Kinisky very shortly here as Zach's setting him up. It's 7:30 puck drop a little bit later. Gager, you're on the broadcast as well, which is kind of cool. Always great seeing you there. And we're good to go as Al Kinisky, a radio analyst for the Kraken, joins us here on EST Afternoons. Al, how you doing here in good old Edmonton?
Fantastic. How are you guys doing?
We can't complain. The weather's beautiful, so it's all fine and dandy. Al, let's get to the Seattle Kraken. In their last 5 games, 3-2, kind of win one, lose one. What have you made of the Kraken in the new year?
Yeah, it's definitely that push time of the year for the Kraken where, they're looking up at a wild card spot that they've got to close a gap on here pretty quick before this Four Nations break. So, every game they're looking to squeeze at least a point or two out of each one. So, it's the time of year where it's make or break.
Al, good to see you, buddy. It's always nice to talk to you, man. How's Capo Caco looked after the coming over from the trade? Is he there was such a highly touted first rounder. I don't know if didn't work out, I don't think, quite as they thought it would in New York. Is this kind of getting a new lease on life, coming to a different team? And it's kind of like shit. I know he was a first rounder, but he's shedding that first rounder, just becoming a good player in the NHL.
Yeah, he's got 9 points in his last 8 games. He's settling in nicely on a line with Matty Beniers and Jaden Schwartz. So on the Schwartz side, he's got some leadership and some skills, and obviously on the Matty Beniers side, a lot of raw talent. And he's a youngster himself too. So, but I like his game. His game is a mix. I was a winger when I played, so I respect that kind of big physical play along the boards. He's not afraid to go to the net. He likes to get in front. He mixes it up a little bit. And I think that's a good compliment to the other 2 guys in his line. And it seems to be working out pretty well so far over, the month plus sample size that we've got so far.
Al, speaking of, you mentioned the line there with Beniers, Caco, and Schwartz. The Oilers are going nuclear option tonight. They're going to play McDavid and Draisaitl together. Which line do you see here matching up against the Oilers' top line tonight?
Well, that's going to be difficult. Obviously, we're on the road, so matching becomes a secondary thought. And we talked to Coach Dan Bylsma this morning, and he said he's really looking towards all the lines to match up to him. If he if he had his pick, I'm not sure who it would be, but you don't get as much of a choice on the road. And I think he's probably thinking about his defensive pairings more than his offensive pairings, in that he'd like to get his top 4 D-men paired up with that line as often as possible. But as you know, on the road, you don't quite have that flexibility.
Al, looking at the goalies, it seems like Joey Decorde's really established himself as the number 1 guy. What's happened with Philip Grubauer? Has he just kind of lost his game here over? Looking at the last 10 games, it's his numbers are quite inflated on the poor side. What have you seen from him? Is it just a case of a guy trying to find it and just hasn't been able to put it together like he has in seasons past?
I think it could be as simple as that. I think that 3 years ago when this team went into the playoffs and Philip Grubauer was leading the charge in the pipes with them, he was the guy. And I think over the last season and a half, that's changed a little bit with Joey Decorde coming into the picture. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe when you don't feel like you're the guy anymore, it's tough to put that same sort of show on each night. But he's a very talented goaltender. He has all the skills to be a number one, and there's no reason why this team couldn't have a 1A, 1B situation. But yeah, you're right. As of late, he has struggled.
Al Kinisky from the Seattle Kraken radio broadcast team joining us here on EST Afternoons. Al, you talked about it. The Kraken right now, 8 points out of the last wild card spot. Are they going to be kind of a wait-and-see approach to the deadline and see if they're going to be sellers or buyers? Or do you see them going all in and just saying, we got to find a way to make that wild card spot?
I think between now and when that wild card spot is out of the picture, you're going to see an all-in situation. Yeah. I think you're going to see above a lot of Joey Daccord. You're going to see, the top lines going as often as possible. Benches shortened late in the games, pushes for extra man goals at the end of the games if necessary. So I think until that statistically is no longer on the table, you're going to see a team go all in looking for that wild card spot.
Over the last week here, I don't know, you probably got rumblings down from Vancouver, but it was a fun little ride for a week between the Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers with going on, and Connor McDavid obviously getting suspended. But the Seattle Kraken have a caged animal ready to get on the ice. I know most guys will say it's just another game, but do you get the feeling that these guys know, look, we're getting a rested Connor McDavid that's ready to get back, and he's paired up with Leon Draisaitl. Is there kind of like, we gotta make sure we stop this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an awareness that has to be in everybody's mind when he's on the ice, but it's not just Connor. It's that whole line, and obviously the Oilers are deep in offensive talent, so I think that a defensive mindset has to be one of the keys tonight for the Kraken if they're going to compete in this game and potentially come out with a point or two. But I think specifically about Connor McDavid, Joaquin, you've played, I've played. You know what it's like when you get your best player back. One of two things can happen. It can be you raise the game as a whole, or everybody takes a step back and goes, thank goodness, our top guy's back. I don't have to go 100% tonight.
Yeah.
And if it's the latter, that needs to get fixed right away. And Coach Knobloch's avail this morning, he talked about that a little bit, that he wants to make sure that no one in the Oilers lineup is thinking that way, that they can slow down a little bit just because 97's back in the lineup.
One last one for you. Chandler Stevenson signed a big ticket in the offseason. Some people were okay with it. Some people thought it was an overpayment. He's got 35 points in 49 games. So what have you made of Chandler Stevenson in his first go-around with the Kraken? Veteran player, plays center, can play in all situations. What have you liked, and what can he improve on here with the Kraken for Chandler Stevenson?
Yeah, Chandler's one of those guys where he's sneaky good. He's got 12 points in his last 12 games. He's leading the team with assists right now. But his demeanor on the ice is not going to stand out. He's a guy that's stealthy, if you will, in that he'll wait for his opportunity. Maybe even efficient's a better word, but he'll wait for his opportunity and then jump in. He's an elite passer in that he's always looking for that pass that maybe others would look off, and he'll feed it between the skates under the stick, and so you'll see him contribute on a lot of goals that way. And I think, in the month of December, maybe late November, he felt a little snake bitten. I think that's gone now, and that he's shooting the puck a lot more. So I think you're seeing the complete Chandler Stevenson right now that the Kraken, expected when they picked him up.
Al, great stuff as always. Enjoy the game tonight. Lucky you guys get to see Connor return after his 3 games off here. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy Edmonton, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for the invite, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
That's Al Kinisky. He's part of the radio broadcast team for the Seattle Kraken, does the analyzing. Gagers, you're going to get to see him tonight.
Yeah, I'll go by and see him.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, we've known each other since we were just little tykes going to tournaments, not unlike Marshall Nielsen.
That's awesome, man. That's pretty cool, the connection there, and that you guys are still in the media world together. And
I told you the story, though. Didn't I tell you the story?
Oh, yeah. Because I think you booked him early on in the season.
Well, but I didn't, so I'll just say it if you didn't hear it before. It's so funny. I've known Al forever. Played junior against him. He played for the Seattle Thunderbirds. I played in Portland, so we'd play against each other, and we played in Coquitlam together as little kids. But for some reason, I just reached out on LinkedIn. I saw him. I said, hey, how's it going? And he goes, "Hey, Joaquin, good to see you." And it was just, I hadn't talked to him in decades. And I went to the game that night, and I'm in the press box, and he's over there getting a coffee, and I'm like, "It looks like Al Kinisky." And I go, "Alan?" And he goes, "Gager?" we oh my gosh, this is great. So yeah, that was last year. It was his first year doing it, his second year now. So it's great. It's good to see a great guy.
Yeah.
Awesome family, just the best.
He seems like an excellent guy. I reached out to him yesterday, and I think when I put Joaquin in there, he was like, "Yeah, of course I'll join you guys." This is what we're anticipating from the Kraken. This is not official, though. Jaden Schwartz with Matty Beniers and Capo Caco. Your second line will be Stevenson between Oliver Bjorkstrand and Andre Burakovsky. Your third line, Shane Wright, who's coming along, Gager.
Yeah,
he is.
That's good. I like to see that, because that was I think he was his own worst enemy there after the draft and stuff, and kind of put himself behind the 8 ball there. But it seems like he's figuring things out, because he's a good player. Like I've watched some Seattle Kraken games, and there are moments where he's been the most dominant player on the ice.
And you can see the skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll play with Jared McCann, who leads the Kraken in scoring, and Eli Tolvanen, and then your fourth line, Mitchell Stevens with Ty Cartier and Brandon Tanev.
Defense team, man. That's like those first 2 lines. Obviously Beniers isn't close to where he was in that first.
Yeah.
Like, he just lit the world on fire. But those first 2 lines.
And to have your leading scorer on the third?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Defensively, Vince Dunn with Adam Larson. That's a very good pair. Then Jamie Oleksiak with Brandon Montour. And then Riker Evans with Josh Mahura. We don't know who's starting just yet. Let me double check that. We might have a starting goaltender. I'm assuming it's going to be Mr. Joey Decourt, who's kind of taken over as the number 1 there for the Seattle Kraken with the struggles of... no, it's unconfirmed yet, so we do not know that. But that's the lineups, and for your Edmonton Oilers, they're going nuclear once again. So it will be Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman. Your second line, Henrique between Arvidsson and Podkolzin. I guess Coach K likes Janmark RNH Brown because he's keeping them together. And then Perry with Philip and Kapanen. And your deep pairing should be the same tonight. Nurse missed the morning skate. He's a little under the weather, but is expected to play tonight. And Calvin Pickard gets a start as Stuart Skinner and his wife are expecting their second child. That can come at any moment. So he gets the night off there. Night off. So then is it just E-Bug?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I was looking for any transactions to see if they called up, or do I have to dust off my gear and bring that to the rink? I'm not sure.
Or is he going to be there, but with the opportunity to leave whenever he wants?
I think he's like got the Velcro skates on.
I never thought of that. I was like, wait, so if he's not playing, obviously, because the baby's coming, But
what if he gets put in?
Yeah, like what if Pickard? Well, knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't. But yeah, interesting situation right now, Gage.
Yeah. No, we'll see.
We will see. You know what's crazy? So the Oilers sit in first place. Well, they did. I think Vegas won last night. They haven't been first in the division since 1987.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a while.
Reed, 1987, last time the Oilers were in first?
Finished first
in the division. That is unreal.
That's crazy with all those good teams that they didn't.
Well, because you still had 88, 89, 90.
91.
Yeah, you had some good years.
92,
so.
How'd they finish in 92?
I want them to. I want home ice, but President's Trophy for me, I think that's bad juju. That's just me. That's just me.
I know.
I don't know. Do other people feel the same way?
No, you know what? I don't. And here's the reason why. When I see teams that run away with it, and they've basically locked up the President's Trophy with like a month and a half, like the Boston Bruins, like they were so far ahead, they could have brought up the Providence Bruins, and would have lost the rest. They probably still would have won the there's no adversity through the year, and you just don't know how to deal with it. And then what happened? They get bounced right away. They get all these questions. Oh, what happened? You lost a game, and all of a sudden they're just not used to it.
So are you with Team Hernan? I want first place, home ice, but I don't want the President's Trophy. That's fair, I think. And there's a lot of good teams. Doesn't mean the Oilers are going to get it, right? So Vegas defeated the Florida Panthers, who are on a bit of a lull right now, but that happens to all the good teams. All right, this is what's going to happen. In the second hour, we're going to revisit that crazy trade that went down Friday evening, Rantanen to the Canes. We're also going to talk about who should replace Alex Pietrangelo at the Four Nations, and we'll continue teeing up Oilers Kraken here on EST Afternoons. We're at 53 thumbs up. We're halfway there. We're 149 watching. We should be way higher right now. So if you haven't slammed that thumbs up, let's get to 100 for the return of El Capitan, Connor McDavid. Puck drop, 7:30. We'll continue the hockey talk and some NFL and probably some motorsports as well. Gagers, I tuned into something I never have before, and it was quite interesting. I want to get your thoughts on that too. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they're the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
How do you beat those winter blues? How about a double shot of classic rock? River Cree Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Helix and Sweet. February 28th, live in the venue. Helix and Sweet. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Captain Connor McDavid is back for the Oilers as they challenge the Kraken, and there's no better way to get set for the action than tuning into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live at 6:30, right here and only here on EST. And the NHL sees 4 other games with St. Louis hosting Vancouver, the Devils meeting the Flyers, the Kings matching up against the Red Wings, and the Pens battling the Sharks, having Evgeny Malkin from Pittsburgh hitting the injured reserve due to a lower body injury, which forced him to leave Saturday's game against the Kraken, and Pittsburgh has recalled Jesse Puljujärvi in response. In Washington, 27-year-old Logan Thompson and the Capitals have agreed to a 6-year deal, 6-year extension, worth $35 million. Elsewhere, the Islanders have acquired Scott Perunovich from St. Louis, sending a 2026 fifth-round selection the other way. And out east, Toronto and the Pelicans hit the court. Sacramento visits Brooklyn. The Hawks play the Timberwolves, while the Bucks and Jazz throw it down, seeing a dozen games in the association. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The second hour of EST Afternoons starts right now.
Welcome back to EST Afternoons, live from the William Huff Studios here in the West Side. Edmonton Oilers, Seattle Kraken tonight, 7:30. Gager will be on the broadcast. I'll be on the pregame show at 6:30 with Tom Gazzola and Matt Cassian, and we'll be back late tonight for the postgame show. Connor McDavid makes his return to the lineup, which is always good news, and should be a fun game down at good old Rogers Place. Good tune there, Coob. VR says, funk it up. I like it. It was some good old funk there. Like always, hit us up on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999, or on the Nasty Chat. Hammer that thumbs up. 100 for good old Connor McDavid. You can probably guarantee 2-3 points tonight, Gager.
Ooh. Yeah, I would say he finishes with 3 points tonight.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go crazy.
Yeah. Well, especially when you hear about what he was doing for the week. Like, I guess he was just skating like a bat out of hell and just training on the ice for an hour and a half and
training with Klimberg.
Yeah, like you see those, like when they have that little, I want to say like an obstacle course with the things he puts the puck through and goes through and takes a shot. It's just, I think I saw, his name's Frank Germain. He's the Oilers practice goalie, and I felt bad for him. It looked awful.
And just quickly, Klimberg away doing immigration stuff, so he will not play tonight.
Yeah.
Watch for him either Thursday or Friday or Saturday. I think that's the more
I would
ideal.
say Saturday.
Yeah,
just give him. Why? It's no rush unless two guys go down. I don't think you see him till Saturday
against his former team.
Yeah,
I'll be right. Nice. If you're listening, iHeart, TuneIn, radio apps, EdmontonSportsTalk.com as well. Just flip over to YouTube, give us a thumbs up, give us the view, and we'll be very grateful for that. 60 thumbs up, we're 40 away from 100. And like always, Gager, we got to get to the big news. I know it happened 4 days ago, but man, Friday afternoon, Hernan was just, finished dinner, opening a bottle of wine, scrolling Twitter, and boom, a Frank bomb. And when you see Rantanen, you do a double take and you're like, wait, is this a real account? You go into it and then you start seeing, and everybody's losing it. Like for me, this is, and like I was explaining to Angelica, I was explaining and then talking with buddies, they're like, this is like if Draisaitl got traded. It is.
Yeah.
It's just as big. This duo of McKinnon Rantanen has been right there with Connor and Leon. The guy's a fantastic player. And that's why for people that there's a small amount that were like, trade Draisaitl, you can get a good package. You don't need him. You have McDavid. I look at it this way. You never win that trade. And listen, Colorado got good players. And Netcash is good. Drury's good. He scored yesterday. Netcash had 2 assists. Yeah, they got 2 picks. But the best player, it's not even close, is Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, no, it's a league of duos, essentially. I think when you look at the top teams in the league, there's always a duo that's, head and shoulders above your S. Usually the superstars of your team. Very surprising that they would let Rantanen go. It's just such a hardcore 3-pronged attack with Rantanen, McKinnon, and Makar. That just, and you see the return. I believe Chicago also retained some salary.
They did
as well. So a little bit there.
I don't know what Chicago's doing, but
yeah, I don't. You wonder. You really wonder. Maybe it's just they're trying to get their best chances possible for the upcoming draft, I guess. But no, and I'm sure if you were to talk to a lot of Avalanche fans in Denver, they'd be like, "What just happened?" Especially when you see Rantanen saying that I was willing to negotiate, and how blindsided a lot of these people were when they heard the news.
What's up, Coop?
Well, Murray McCourt, known Chicago Blackhawks
fan,
right.
Here on the Hangout today was saying, he kind of thought that a 3rd-round pick for Taylor Hall and retaining that salary was fair because Taylor Hall was playing on the 4th line for the Blackhawks. And, of course, he only played 4 games last season, coming off a huge lower body injury, was out that entire year. And he was slotted in on the 4th line on his new team as well. So it's kind of like they get that 3rd-round pick, and it's an early 3rd-round pick because they're getting their own pick back is the thing, right? But they're retaining so much. So it kind of looks off when you know the lethal potential of Taylor Hall, but where he's at right now in his career, he's not that great of a player, so they got some asset back at least, right?
And it affect, like, look at Bednar. He was down. McKinnon was like, I still can't believe this happened. Like, it's, oh boy, like it. Maybe management thought they couldn't get a deal done because he's probably wants around what Leon is getting, and he deserves it. Maybe it doesn't fit into their salary cap. Yeah, man. He's one of the top players in the league.
When McKinnon's out, he takes, like, he's their best player, right? Like, by 100%. Far. Like, he puts the team on his back. He's just like Leon in that case, right? And he does it in a way that's similar to Leon. It initiates the contact, rolls off. He's just got that sledgehammer for a shot. Does
this push the Canes over the hump because they can't get out of that 2nd, 3rd round? What do you think? Because they added Taylor Hall as well, right? So
I don't know if does that just even it out? I don't know, man.
Gager does not like Taylor Hall.
Look, I was Yeah, unfortunately, like I realize the talent of Taylor Hall. Don't get me wrong, but I just I have a particular view of Taylor Hall that I don't think there's certain players I think you can win with and some that you can't. And I just believe that he is one of those players that if you're going for on a championship run, isn't going to benefit your team that much. And that's just the way I feel. I don't know the guy personally. It's just what I've seen while he was here and on other teams, whatever. But he adds maybe a little bit more speed. I haven't watched much Chicago. As you heard Coob just say, he's on the fourth line there. So,
yeah, Chicago is just, maybe they're tanking and they're doing a hell of a job that. But no offense to our buddy Murray McCorvey, you can't be happy with that. Like you're retaining. Yeah, no. I mean, sure, you can look at it. Sure, and say, they got what? The value of it? I don't think so. I don't know what Chicago's doing. Bronco Nick says, Chicago's getting ready to offer Sheet Bouchard. Well, go ahead, man.
Well, just trade him for Seth Jones.
I'll leave it at that. And what's going on here? Caster 1990 says, Blackhawks GM explained there was going to be cap retention in order to move Hall. He convinced Carolina to take 50% of Rantanen's expiring contract versus Hall 2 years remaining. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because it's just for the rest of the year. Rantanen has to re-up after this season. Can you imagine he just leaves?
Like, this couldn't have gotten any better for Rantanen, right? Like, there's no ties really to Raleigh or Carolina. He can just go there, try to win again. If he does, that even boosts his asking price even more, I think. But he's just looking on his calendar. July 1st is circled huge, probably in green, because there's going to be a few Brinks trucks backing up on that day to sign Rantanen.
Yeah, if he was smart, he wouldn't commit. He'd say, "Hey guys, let's just play out the year, see what's up, and then you guys are on top of my list."
Yeah, I mean, even if he didn't have a great rest of the year, he would still, from what he's done in the past, be able to command quite a lot of dineros.
So that's a risk by Carolina too.
Well, they're going for it. They have to do something. I guess they've always been like last year, the Rangers just were a better team. I still think, I don't know, they're a good team, the Canes. They're a really good team.
And that's why I say always careful what you wish for, and you want to trade a superstar like Rantanen. You're never going to win that trade, ever.
No, you're just not even close.
And just quickly, the Capitals have re-signed goaltender Logan Thompson to a 6-year, $35.1 million contract extension. That's an AAV of 5.85. That's a hell of a deal for Thompson, and he's earned it, man.
He's earned it, man. He's the best goalie in the league. He's been the best goalie in the league all year, and he's the main reason why the Washington Capitals are the best team in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
Are you guys surprised it's not more money though? Like 5.85, that's similar kind of to like a John Gibson kind of deal. But the way he's playing, he could get more than $7 million, no? Like, wouldn't you imagine that he would kind of be prying for more money?
I mean, there were struggles in the past though, right? Like, and I think maybe he could have got more, I guess, but I don't know.
That's still pretty good money.
I mean, he took a haircut to get to go to Washington, right? He's only making he's making league minimum right now. And I think it's it's going to be perfect for the Washington Capitals. I mean, they're going to need a goalie. They're going to need to sign either Lindgren back again, but that'll keep their cap right around that perfect number of below 7 or 8% of their cap, and be able to, because who knows what's going to happen with Backstrom. I mean, if he's going to come back, he's on LT. I don't know if he plays again. He's 37 years old. Oshie, by all accounts, that's his career has come to an end as well. So they're going to have a lot of cap space here to be able to, and if they can find the right number to keep their goalies in check and have a really good starter, they could. Washington Capitals could be a better team next year than they are this year.
For sure. And he bet on himself, man, and he earned a long-term contract, set him up for the rest of his life. Good on him. Still a little surprising he wasn't called for the Four Nations, but you never know. Let's get to that. Alex Pietrangelo pulls out, says he's dealing with something, played yesterday, played a ton of minutes, but he's not going to be going to the Four Nations. I think I know he's public enemy number one here. People hate him, but he's a hell of a defenseman, Gager. Let's be honest here. Like, who do you see him replacing him? There's some good options, the fantastic options.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just throw out a few names and we can discuss. Drew Doughty, Mackenzie Weegar, Evan Bouchard, Chris Tanev, Dougie Hamilton.
Riley's not on that list either, is he?
From the Leafs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I think I would lean more towards the guy down south with Weegar. I think all around, he's just a really, really good defenseman. One of the reasons that the Calgary Flames are still sniffing around the wild card spots right now. You want guys that have done well this year. I think it's between him and Hamilton. I would, you know what? I would throw Nurse's name in there before Evan Bouchard.
Yeah, because Noah Dobson's not an option. He's on IR. How about this name? Brandon Montour.
It's good, man.
He's greasy. He can defend. He moves the puck well. Can play. Well, he's not going to be needed, but he can play on the power play if needed. There's some good names there. I don't think Doughty should be because he hasn't played, man. That's a tough ask.
Yeah, and he's probably looking at that to get back up to speed.
Yeah. Hey, let me play here.
Yeah, and he already said he wants to play in that if he can. He gets the sentimental vote, I think.
Yeah.
I
love Doughty, yeah.
I have time for it, but just he hasn't played all year basically, right? So no, I think it's Mackenzie Weegar. For guys that at the end of the season can say, yeah, I'll continue to play, go overseas and put the Maple Leaf on at the World Championships. I think if I was Hockey Canada, I'd lean towards those guys. A little bit of loyalty there for guys that have done it. And Mackenzie Weegar lit up the World Championships just a couple years ago, right? So
the hell of a defenseman.
He's awesome, man. He is really good.
Coop's got the defenseman up there. That's great. Yeah, I think it's going to be Dougie Hamilton between him. I like the Mackenzie Weegar one. I think Montour's a sleeper. I think he's good. I think on the outside looking in, it's Bouchard, Nurse, Tanev, guys like that, right? I just don't see them getting the call because this is a defenseman, Gager, that wasn't going to be your 6'7".
No.
He was going to be one of your key top four guys playing in every situation, right? So do you want that? And yeah, what say you? Let us know at the River Korean Box 780-218-9999 or on the Nasty Chat. Who should go in place of Alex Pietrangelo? A lot of good names, Gager. This is going to be a fun tournament. Can't wait for it. Aaron Ekblad's another name as well.
Yeah. I think I go with Weegar. He's my pick, but what do I know?
Because you're going to go Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah.
The excitement of these guys, like just now they're like, wait, I can get called again. Because it's pretty cool. And I'll be honest, seeing Connor in his gear, like wearing it in, like that got me excited.
Well, even, Ekholm had the Trey Coroners on and stuff. So they're all putting on their other gear. Hey, you said you had something that Coach Mike texted in, right? He asked about Skinner's record when he faces a lot of shots. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I got it right here. So this is courtesy of my buddy Brian Swain. He says stats. Here we go. Oilers are 26-5-5 since 2020 when giving up 40+ shots. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner is 9-2-2 in his career when facing 40+ shots. So the memo is give up a lot of shots.
No, I always found when I played that the games that I had a little bit more work to do, busy. Those were games that I excelled at. It's a lot easier to stay in the game when you're busy and you're facing shots consistently, right? So rather than those games where you get 15 to 20 shots, so you're sitting there for periods of time throughout the game, maybe 10, maybe even 15 minutes without facing anything, and staying focused, staying ready, because usually after that amount of time, they come down with a good scoring chance, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be sharp. So that I always, there's people that I see on, there's one just doofus that talks about goaltending stats and how it's an overrated position, and says how Marty Berdeur's he doesn't deserve to be a Hall of Famer and stuff like this. This is someone who knows nothing about goaltending, because Marty Brodeur, although faced a low amount of shots, a lot of those were grade A scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, so he would have 15 shots and probably 8 of them are top scoring chances for the other team. And he's stopping all those, and they're winning 2-1. Not only that, it's like they used to win games 2-1. So it's constantly like mentally staying focused and in those games. That's the most impressive thing I find about some of these guys. When you look, they didn't face that many shots. Marty Berdeur's stats are crazy to me, because he probably, if you could measure it, his focus was probably, top 5 all time of best goalies, I bet, just because of the situation and how he had to play.
Hey, and listen, let's go back to Saturday. Skinner didn't face a shot till 10, 11 minutes.
Yeah.
In. That's hard.
That's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was outstanding. This one from Martin says, that would be sick if Gager's the E-bug.
Yeah. I think they passed a law that's not allowed anymore. Not specifically to me, but.
I remember back in the day watching an old game. We were watching a game, and the Oilers had an E-bug situation, and John Garrett was doing color. And he had to go dress.
Really?
Yeah, and he just used spare parts from the equipment guys who were hooking him up.
Yeah.
He didn't ever have to play.
Yeah.
But he almost had to go in because the only Oiler goalie they had, I can't remember who it was. He got hurt, but he ended up staying in the game. But he was getting in his gear, and then the play-by-play guy had to go by himself for a bit.
Great.
Yeah, it was great.
They passed a rule now, though, because after the errors, the guy in Toronto that came in.
Yeah.
After that, they said they need a guy who's played close to professional. So here in Edmonton, I believe the
U of A
guy will always go to the game. Like, he'll be sitting there with his gear, and if something happens, what I don't like about that too is if the goalie gets hurt and the other guy goes in, they don't even allow him on the bench.
Yeah.
Like, let him go on the bench. And if they get a chance to go in, if the other team's blown, I love that. Like, for a young guy that's, he's playing at a pretty high level, to get a chance to sit on the bench. Yeah, I remember my first time. It's amazing. And then if you actually get to go in for 5 minutes and play a game a little bit, why not? It's the only.
But you play
sport where
pro. You could be a goalie, an E-bug.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Does Gager's hate of Hall extend to listening to Hall and Oates?
Love Hall and Oates, except when the Leafs score, but they don't play that anymore, so it's okay.
Ryan from Saskatchewan, does Hall have trade protection? Would they flip him to free up more cap? They might. I got to check in on that. What would Mikko Rantanen's offer from Anaheim, Chicago, or San Jose look like on July 1st? Probably 14 mil.
14, 15, yeah.
And then Shawnzy says, love him or hate him, Darnell Nurse in for the Four Nation. He's been great this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would look for Rantanen. If you're going to ask me who I think are the front runners next year to grab him, I would look to the Minnesota Wild.
Really?
Because, they got both those big contracts coming off, right? With the names are escaping me right now.
Parise and Sutter.
Sutter. Yeah, Sutter are both coming off, right? So they're going to have a lot of cap space next year to at least offer Rantanen something.
That's interesting.
And then you got Kaprizov, Rantanen. That's not a bad little combo right there. Who's let's see.
Boldy, Rossi, Zuccarello.
Eriksson Ek. Look out, man.
They got pumped by the Flames.
Yeah, they're kind of struggling right now. But because Parise, that's a ton coming off. 14 million coming off the cap next year.
That's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. We're going to get to a quick break here. We'll continue the Oilers talk, some NFL as well. This day in sports history. So an interesting name celebrating a birthday today, Gager. I want to get to it because I know if you grew up in that, you're an Oiler fan in that era, this player kind of drew you crazy, but it wasn't his fault. It was the coach's fault. Mac T. I blame Mac T.
Okay.
I blame Mac T for it. But like always, hit us up on the Nasty Chat as we're live here in the William Huff Studios. Hit us up on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. The afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Tap 25 restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off, 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. We're back after the breaks. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas. It's EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Here is Coob with your sports update.
Connor McDavid returns for the Oilers fresh off his 3-game suspension as they get set to take on the Kraken. And you can join Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as they preview the action during the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6:30 only on EST. And 4 other games around the NHL has the Canucks dropping the puck against the Blues, LA in Detroit, and Philly hosting New Jersey, while the Penguins butt heads with the Sharks. And back in Pittsburgh, Evgeny Malkin hits the injured reserve as he left Saturday's game after against the Kraken after absorbing a knee-on-knee collision. In response, the Pens have recalled Jesse Puljujarvi from the AHL. And Logan Thompson has agreed to a 6-year contract extension with the Capitals worth just under $6 million a season. In the OHL, head coach Stan Butler of the Otters has been fired after the team conducted an internal review. And on the court, there's 12 games with the Raptors meeting the Pelicans, the Grizzlies throwing it down against the Knicks, the Rockets facing the Celtics, and the Clippers battling the Suns. This sports update is brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation. Financial support deeply affects those at Capital Care, and whether it's a one-time donation or a monthly contribution, every penny counts. Find out how you can donate at capitalcarefoundation.net. More with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage on the other side of the break. Here on EST Afternoons, I'm Zachary Kubish.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hockey lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. Plus, you can win game tickets and a surf and turf dinner for 2 at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
2:26. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Reminder, Super Bowl party, EST. Oh, I just had all the information. Here we go. It's going to be at the good old Centric Casino on Fort Road. Under $10 food and drink menu, prizes every quarter. Enter to win a share of $1,000 in prizing as well. Reservations are recommended, so make sure you get your table reserved right away, or you might have to miss out on this. But under $10 menu, you can get a smoked brisket, cheesesteak, surf and turf, pound of wings, chili cheese hot dog with choice of side, garlic dry ribs, and then tons of beers on tap for under $10. So it's going to be a great time.
What day is that?
Fun. The 9th.
Hate that.
Can't make it.
Oh no, I just hate the 2 weeks.
I know. I agree with you. It should be boom, boom, boom this week, like the Grey Cup, man.
It shows how powerful the NFL is.
Oh,
like
yeah.
most other sports, if you were to delay the championship, you would lose so much viewership. But it actually, I think it almost helps them.
Well, it's an event in itself, the week, right?
Yeah. It's somewhat kind of close to F1.
It is. I like that comparison.
Well, F1, like depending on where you are, you see the attendance over the week, and it's usually 350,000 people, right?
People are asking, what was that banging tune, Coob? That comes from Harrison T on the Nasty Chat.
Well, it's off the YouTube audio library, royalty-free music, but the artist's name is Ethan Mexcel. I'll put it in the Nasty Chat. MEIX Cell. Mexcel.
Nice.
I think that's how you
Perfect.
say it. But yeah. Granite is the name.
We're at 70 thumbs
my
up.
favorite tequila, mezcal.
Mezcal. We only need 30 more for Connor McDavid to have a successful night tonight in his triumphant return from a 3-game suspension for cross-checking Connor Garland in the head. So 30 more. We got 151 watching. The math doesn't add up. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do so now. So, Gage, I wanted to tell you this. So on the weekend, I tuned into, it was called the Rolex 24 Daytona.
Okay.
Interesting, because it's a 24-hour race, right? So each team has 3 or 4 drivers. The Magnussen was part of one team.
Oh, really?
Kevin Magnussen. Yeah,
No way.
yeah. The only guy I knew. I was like, oh, that's cool. But it's interesting because it's different. Like they have different like groups. Like for example, Porsche and them were in one group. Like because I think it's the car or the motorsport they compete in.
Yeah.
So you have winners in different categories. Really? Yeah, it was a little bit weird. And I guess the team that won, I think it was their second straight time.
Oh, really?
And that to me is riding for 24 hours. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But does a guy go in and then other guy jumps in the car? Is that how it works?
Yeah. Well, have you seen Ford versus Ferrari?
Yes.
Yeah. So that in Le Mans, that's what they do. Guys sleeping in there, and they wake him up and it's your turn. Get in the car.
So is Le Mans, because it's in an Adrian Newey book.
Yeah.
Like he's always wanted to be
it's 24.
In that. It's 24 hours
24
as well.
Hours,
yeah. Okay. It was kind of cool. I kind of So 4 different classes, very typical in endurance racing. Yeah. So the cars are kind of cool. They're a little bit different. I don't know what the classes entail though. Like I was just looking at Kevin Magnussen, seeing where he was at, but it's kind of cool seeing because I guess there's drivers from everywhere. And I know motorsports fans are probably like, God, this guy's an idiot. But it's my first time tuning in.
Well, yeah, I think. I know Alonso competed in Le Mans, and I think Sebastian Vettel wanted to do it too. There was rumors him coming back to F1 too. I don't know. Let's see.
So it was quite interesting. Big crowds, Gager. Like it was pretty cool. It was interesting. Something I've never really watched. And I think on Saturday they only showed the first hour, the start of the race.
Okay, yeah.
And then yesterday I think they did the last 2 hours of the race, which is kind of cool. So there's probably, like you said, like an F1 channel where you probably could watch the whole damn race. So pretty interesting. The other thing today we were talking about is Antonelli, 3rd youngest driver ever in F1 history.
Mm-hmm.
First 2, Max. I think Max was 17.
Yeah, he was 7. Well, that's the thing they were talking about. He has it's probably lower now, but 79 weeks. I'm guessing. I think it's around there. Where if he wins, he could be the youngest driver ever to win an F1 race if he does it within that time. Because that's the time between now and it's obviously a different number than I said there, but between now and Max's first win. So, or maybe it's 8 weeks. I don't know what.
And number 2 is our boy Lance Stroll.
Really?
Yeah. Second youngest to ever get into an F1.
That's what happens when your daddy gives you the teams.
I'm surprised he's not the youngest. There you go, son.
Yeah. Well, what's incredible is these guys, could barely get their actual driver's license, and they've got their super license. When you read about a super license too, it's like you got to pay a ton of money to get this thing. And there's certain races you have to have acquire so many points in different leagues and get to that point. But they really. And that was the whole thing. Like Lance Stroll was on a podcast talking about how it's they, you can't just buy your way into F1. You have to have the receipts.
Come on. That's the last guy that should be saying that.
That was great.
Bronco Nick says all the classes are racing at the same time, so you need to really pay attention, especially at night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Van Owen says IMSA, I'm just going to say it like that, had the entire 24 hours streamed on their YouTube channel. Big surprise, if I'm being honest. Cool. And then he also says Grosjean was there.
Grosjean, yeah.
Yeah. So interesting little thing. I heard the Le Mans one is like even better.
Yeah, that's huge, right?
Because in his book, Adrian Newey says he's always wanted to be he's never really built a car for that or been involved in that, but that's on his bucket list. But he's a little occupied.
Yeah, now
Truck 67 says lots of IndyCar drivers. Okay.
Well, he's got to figure out how to make Lance comfortable.
What I love about IndyCar, like I said, I'm going to try to get into it, is their player promos.
Oh yeah,
yeah, for the year.
Did you see some of their promos for this year coming up?
Yeah,
they look good, man.
Like one guy had Tom Brady, and he said he didn't even know. Yeah. And then I saw Tim Horani tweet yesterday. He goes, "These just keep getting better and better." Yeah, so I'm watching.
That's why I watched them all.
It's crazy. Van Owen says Le Mans is bucket list for me someday soon. Is there one track you'd love to go to, Gager, for F1?
F1.
Like if you got one choice and they said, Gage, we're going to grant you your wish and you get to pick anywhere that's on the circuit.
I think it has to be Silverstone just because of the history, right? The birth of F1 is there. Selfishly, and I know I think the Red Bull Ring would be neat, like, because it's outside of town. You go with your caravan and you spend all, the whole week there. I think I'd like to be at one of those. It's in Europe for sure.
Monaco.
I mean, it'd be cool to be in Monaco.
It's too bougie.
Well, A, I couldn't afford it, and B, I don't know if I mean, it would be great. Don't get me wrong, but I'd like to be in a place where I can really see the race. Monza'd be cool, just with the Tifosi and stuff, like just going nuts. Like, I mean, it's too bad the Belgian Grand Prix gone, because that's just party music the whole time.
I love, because with reading the books that we have for F1 and Adrian Newey, like, I love it because there's been a lot of circuits that are no longer around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I didn't know they went there.
Well, it's kind of neat that they're starting in Australia this year too, right? I saw a little thing there, like someone was walking through the grounds in what's Albert Park? I believe. Can't remember the actual, but it's all the fencing and stuff. They're getting ready for it, and it's pretty cool, man. I can't wait.
I think just the Monaco looks unreal. Obviously, if you're rich and like we couldn't afford.
But I mean, you obviously get an Airbnb and sit right on the straightaway, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, you go out on your balcony and just hear them just rip by.
Yeah, I'd go to any Grand Prix, man. Like my nephew's been to Montreal. Said it was amazing.
Yeah.
My two other cousins this year went to the Vegas one. They're big Ferrari. Yeah. And I was like,
I don't think I'd want to see it in North America. Nothing wrong with it, but I'd rather, go to Asia or something. Imagine going to Abu Dhabi and just for a race. It's crazy.
Jason and Duke says the higher the number after the GT part of the classification means the car is more powerful. The LMP cars are more powerful than the GT cars. I love to drive a game called Assetto Corsa Competizione that showcase the endurance cars. And okay, interesting. See, because I'm learning, because I saw the different categories. I just didn't know what they meant. And then this one says, have you been to Salzburg, the home of Porsche? They have a display of Porsche that look like a vending machine. Real cool.
Yeah. There's lots of those in Europe.
Like growing up, I loved Porsche cars. Not so much anymore. Porsche.
No. Yeah.
Not so much anymore, but...
no, because Newey said it's terrible.
That's true. There was a lot of Porsche cars yesterday in the race. It was pretty cool.
I did see a beautiful car on the road here the other day, though.
Did you?
Oh my!
A Porsche?
God. No, it was a Toyota. It's the new Toyota Land Cruiser. My God, it was gorgeous. It was matte black. It was perfect vehicle.
I love the Audis for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
If I could have any car, it would be that new Toyota Land Cruiser.
for me to be an Audi.
Really? R8? Like,
I'll never be able to afford one. But
no, me neither. But whatever.
I mean, if I did, it'd be like the very basic car.
Yeah, just a steering wheel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get anything else out of that car. But and again, I'm not a big car guy. I've never have been. Like when people that are like great at like the under the hood working on cars and stuff like that. Gager, I'm more of like if it looks nice, I'm good.
Oh yeah, but I mean I'm a realist too. Like I've been fortunate enough to live in Europe and be, on highways and freeways that there is no speed limit, right? Like I've gotten a car up to 180 kilometers an hour, and I had Lambos and Porsches and BMWs just ripping by me, right? And it's something to drive a car that fast. It feels great.
I'd probably be terrified.
Oh, it's scary because I thought I was a pretty good driver, and when I went to Germany to play hockey, I was like, I suck at driving. It was a big wake up call. Like Germans, I would say, are the best drivers on the planet.
Really?
For a people themselves, I mean, Germans follow the rules.
Don't go to South America.
But it's very enjoyable to drive on those roads in Germany. And no one goes in the left lane unless it's to pass, and no one will pass you on the right.
Really?
Ever. When I came home and someone passed me on the right, I almost crashed the car because I was like, it took me off guard so much. Like they're perfect. They're perfect drivers in Germany on those, and they have to be. You can't be going 220 kilometers an hour and without people following the rules. It is great. It is so much fun.
That is crazy. Bones says, I would go to a track where you can see more than one turn. Monaco and any other street has very limited views.
That's why. That's why I wouldn't want to go to Monaco.
Martin says, you guys can afford it if... Oh, no. Come on, Martin. I've been to the Circuit of the Americas, took a spin around the track in a school bus, Rusty Shackleford. And Jason and Leduc says, Audi is my go-to GT3 car. First car I had was a Neon, got that thing up to 180 once. The whole thing started shaking.
Oh, yeah. I had a turbo diesel Volkswagen Passat for one of my cars when I played in Germany. That thing was just so powerful. That's what I got up to 180. Just cruising. So great.
It's crazy. You go to South America on the road, Gager, it's like you are driving F1, man.
Oh yeah, it was
like no one respects the lanes. Yeah. There's 3 lanes, they'll make 6 out of it, and everybody's honking. Everybody's in a rush, and you should see the buses there cruise. They're going 180.
The Motorinos, like I remember driving in Verona too in Italy, and there's no lines. There's just Motorinos going in and out. I was scared to death there. They just didn't care.
Oh, it's South America driving is something else, man. I wouldn't drive there, Gager.
Yeah.
I'd rather just take a cab or an Uber. I'm like, I am not driving in this city.
And then close your eyes because it's still scary.
I'm far too proper and nice to drive there. Because when people from Chile come here and they're like, wow, the roads are so nice. Everybody respects it. Everybody, it's like just such a change. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. Host your team or league fundraiser at the Canadian Brew House for a chance to win $2,500 with tons of options to choose from. The Canadian Brew House can help you raise funds for your crew. Details in store or online at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Up next, we'll close out the show. We'll give you a refresher on the Oilers lines, who's in, who's out as they take on the Kraken tonight. And we'll get to this day in sports history as well as Reed Wilkins, Jay Milne coming up from 3 to 6, and then the Oil Stream show with Tom Gazzola at 6.
Tommy the Tush.
30. Tommy the hockey booty. Hockey booty Tom at 6:30 with the pregame show as the Oilers host the Kraken. We're back after the break. Here's Coob with your sports update.
Kelvin Picker gets a start for the Oilers against the Kraken and McDavid's return from suspension. And you can tune in to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show right here on EST alongside Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop as they get you set for the action. Elsewhere, the Red Wings challenge the Kings. Vancouver hits the road in St. Louis. The Devils meet the Flyers, and San Jose hosts Pittsburgh, with the Pens moving Evgeny Malkin to the injured reserve due to a lower body injury he sustained against the Kraken Saturday night, with Jesse Puljujarvi being recalled from Wilkes-Barre in response. Meanwhile, the Capitals have signed Logan Thompson to a 6-year extension worth a total of just over $35 million. And in basketball, ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting that the Heat have informed Jimmy Butler that he's being suspended indefinitely after he walked away from practice this morning. And Butler has missed a total of 9 games this season for suspensions handed out by his own team, with this newest penalty being a minimum of 5 games for Butler. And 12 games dot the NBA slate today, including the Raptors back in action against the Pelicans. This sports update is brought to you by Gimme Virtual Golf. Step into a whole new golfing experience with 240 unique courses for you to play. Plus, they have an hydraulic swing plate that automatically tees the ball up for you, with the innovative technology replicating real-life ball eyes, moving the ball in 24 different directions. Gimme Virtual Golf, where innovation meets the game. Visit their website at gimmevirtualgolf.ca. The final segment of EST Afternoons on this Monday edition follows up after the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're on the loop.
How do you beat those winter blues? How about a double shot of classic rock? River Cree Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Helix and Sweet. February 28th, live in the venue. Helix and Sweet. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Make a fresh start in the new year with Sentinel Storage. With convenient locations near you, Sentinel Storage is here to help you make space for everything 2024 holds. Sentinel Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
2:45, final segment here on EST Afternoons for this Monday Oilers game day. Kraken in town, 7:30 puck drop, 6:30 Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola. Reed and Jay coming up at 3. They'll take you right up until 6. We'll have a little bit of a break there for 30 minutes and be back with the pregame show. And, of course, later tonight, the good old post-game show. We're close to 100. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Please, thank you, Oilers lines for tonight. This is what has been sent out. Draisaitl with McDavid, Hyman. Podkolzin, Enrique, and Arvidsson. Janmark, RNH Brown. Perry with Philip and Kapanen. Expected the pairings to be the same as Nurse did miss the morning skate. He's under the weather, but he is expected to play. And Calvin Pickard gets a start as Stuart Skinner is expecting his second child shortly here, Gager. And we were discussing that we don't know if he's going to be on the bench or who's like, there's no call up. There's like, we're a little intrigued by this.
Yeah, probably have the cell phone right beside you, I guess. And it's go time. I don't know.
Go time to switch out of your gear and let's go. Very intrigued by that. I don't know how that works. Because if he's not playing because he can't be there, then that's completely different. But maybe they're not playing him, but he's going to be there just in case he has to leave.
It doesn't make any sense.
Dip out in the second period.
So what if Pickard gets injured and Skinner has to go in? Then they got to go to the bug.
You don't think the E-Bug's feeling it a bit today? The butterflies in the stomach.
Oh my gosh.
Getting a little nervous there. And but hey, last 9 starts for Calvin Pickard, 8-1, 2.55 goals against, 903 save percentage. Gage already said it. He expects Connor to get 3 points in his return. He said, you heard from him in the first hour, he was antsy to get going here. A lot of practice, and he's going to get some game time tonight and playing alongside his 2 bros that are very successful with him. So we'll see what happens. So with the lines, that means Jeff Skinner's out. A little unfortunate because he scored last game. He was on the first power play, and he was playing well. I mean, but at the end of the day, Gager, it was Kapanen, Philp, or Skinner.
Yeah.
You had to pick one.
Yeah, and I mean, tonight's going to be a tough game. That's bottom line. Like, it's not going to be easy. And they're going with a little bit heavier lineup, it looks like, right? A little bit more push.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here with this Seattle team. A decent lineup. I wouldn't say it's a great roster, but they got some quality players for sure, and it's never going to be easy. Never going to be easy. This day in sports history, Gager, 1984, Wayne Gretzky set an NHL record for consecutive game scoring. He ended the streak at 51 games the next night against the LA Kings. The streak began on October 5th, 1983.
Crazy.
Unreal. And in 2002, the Montreal Canadiens became the first NHL team to score 10,000 home goals. How crazy is that? And then birthdays. This is the guy I was talking. Remember Liam Reddick's?
Oh, yeah.
Number 85? Yeah. And Mac T loved him.
Oh,
and
gosh.
he couldn't play in the top 6.
No.
But for some reason, he would find himself on the power play. It drove young Hernan crazy before he was in the media. He was just a diehard fan. And it was nothing against Liam Reddick. He's just doing what the coach told him to. But it was very frustrating times. And Dave Manson's birthday today.
Oh.
Former Oiler coach.
Yeah.
Assistant coach. So there you have it. That's this day in sports history. And it's National Chocolate Cake Day. You big chocolate cake guy?
No.
No? Oh, you don't like the sweets.
No, I like those cookies, though.
Yeah, those cookies were fantastic. Yeah. Great job to the listener who dropped them off.
Still haven't found out that name. We'll get it.
Maddie! We'll find out the name to give the proper thanks to.
Just to reinforce my statement from the last segment there, Cozy's in to the text line. Hey, I was just in Germany for Oktoberfest, and I drove on the highway there. It was amazing. Gager's 100%. I felt safer driving there than on the QE2.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy, man. You feel safe. You don't have to worry about someone cutting you off or doing something like. And then if you're in the left lane and you're there too long, they'll just come right up, give you the beams, get out of the way, and then they'll proceed.
Really?
Yeah. They don't pass on the right, man.
This one from Millwood's Matt. Driving in Italy is crazy too. Like, people put pillows on bumpers and light posts to limit damage in some areas. That's quite outstanding. More in the nasty chat too. Sexy 5 cents. He says Panama, they have school bus racing on the streets. Yeah, it's because like before in Chile, like you're fighting for the money, right?
Yeah.
So like these guys would cruise, man. Like it was terrifying.
Oh, that is crazy.
Big Mabel says, I remember a cab driver in Montreal was driving so close and fast to the car in front, I could tell what the other driver's prescription contact levels were.
That's good.
Let's see, what else do we got here? I was going to get to something. Oh, Matt Hyman's a good old Winnipegger. You know who's the happiest with this trade? The Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, though. Like, they don't have to deal with McKinnon and Rant. It's a lot different, McKinnon Rantanen, than McKinnon Neckash.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it is. Like, that's a huge one there for sure. We're 10 away from 100 thumbs up. Let's get there. We got about 4 or 5 minutes here before Reed jumps on with his show. And Jay Milne, of course, joining him. A little sad today because the Commanders are out. But what a future that team has. And the best thing about that game, Gager, is that Jaden Daniels got out healthy. He's going to be even better next year, and that team's going to be a team to not mess around with going
Just
forward.
think of the experience he's got, moving forward. Sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels?
I hope not.
Me too.
I hope not. I hope he's even better because he's so exciting to watch. And yesterday, too, I found it interesting in the game early on. So in their first drive, they took about, 8-9 minutes, maybe even 10. They go on it, twice on 4th down, and then the third time they kicked the field goal.
And yeah,
just go for it.
I get putting points on the board though.
Katie says, I have 2 parking tickets in Italy. Probably a warrant for my arrest. No, I mean, some countries are just the driving is. I always remember I was at the beach and we're crossing the street to go to like a patio, have some drinks. And like, it's a red light, so you can't cross. There's a cop standing right there at the light. Everybody just crossed the street. And me and my cousin are just standing there. And they must have been like, what the hell's wrong with these two?
Yeah, look at these 2 idiots.
I'm like, but the cop's right there. And there was just no F's given by the cop. He's like, whatever. I'm going to let it happen.
What do you got tonight? Who's got a score for me?
I think the Oilers win this one. I think there's no way they're having a letdown with their captain. I'm going to say 5-1 for the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, 5-1 for the Edmonton Oilers. I think McDavid obviously is going to chip in. I think RNH keeps his streak going here. He's been fantastic. So. He was really good last game. What are you saying? You think it's going to be a little bit closer?
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to come down to the end.
Might not giving enough respect to the Kraken.
No, you're not. I think it's 4-2, but someone will hit the empty netter.
Oh, that was funny.
They almost lost. You know, like
the
Oilers
Oilers
came back and had a chance.
I think the Oilers
tied, whatever.
I think the Oilers are in the bottom 5, Gager, and empty net goals with 6.
Yeah,
but they just can't. And it's Leon Draisaitl.
I know, man. It's so funny. It's almost like they need a goalie in there to score. It's too much net.
What do you want to do tomorrow on the show, Gager? We can go so many places. NFL, we can go to Colorado and talk about the trade, go to Carolina. We can, just a lot going on. It's only going to get busier, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the
Cowboys had their presser to unveil their new coach, and I guess Jerry Jones and management, they were doing a lot of air quotes, a lot of frustrated media there with that presser. So we might have to go to Dallas. It's never a dull time there.
Yeah. I hate having these 2 weeks because I get the build up, but it would be nice to know that this game's next Sunday. I just think.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, we got a lot of time to break this down.
Coob, you said Butler's, what was the news on Butler?
Yeah.
Well, he's been informed by the Heat, his team, of course, that he's been suspended indefinitely. He missed or walked out on practice this morning. He didn't just miss practice, and this is his 3rd suspension from his own club this season. The first one was 7 games, and I think he was suspended another couple games, but this newest suspension, Sham Sharania of ESPN first reporting that it'll be a minimum of 5 games, and it's likely it could possibly be his last game in Miami. But, basketball players, they always play for the jersey on the front. It's never on the back, right?
It's a great argument on TNT on the panel because Kenny and Charles were like, you're under contract. Be a professional.
Yeah.
And then Shaq was like, and Shaq with a terrible take, he goes, no, they don't want me. I don't want you. And that's the way it works. They're like, but he's under contract. It's different if he was looking for a deal. Shaq with an all-time horrible take, but it's not a good look for Jimmy Butler.
No.
35 years old. I mean, you're getting paid $50 million a year.
Well, imagine if like JT Miller or something did something like that, right? That's a comparable.
Yeah, but Miller's still, at least he's showing up and trying to play.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing the best he can for the team. He's putting the team ahead of himself. Oh yeah,
you have to be a pro.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's favorite fish, selfish.
I like that. C. Run says, Mad McDavid is coming in hot, 4 points. KD says 6-1 Oilers. John Carlos says 5-2 Oilers. Draisaitl with 2 empty net goals.
2 empty netters.
I love it. And then VR says, what a diva. Talking about good old Jimmy Butler. All right, guys, we got to get out here. It's Oilers game day. Reed Wilkins, Jay Milne with you from 3 to 6. And then at 6:30, the GCL Diesel All-Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassidy, and myself as we'll tee up everything from the studios. But the action will be down at Rogers Place. 7:30 start time for Oilers Kraken. We'll be back tomorrow with another fun-filled show here on EST Afternoons. For Joaquin, Gage, and Zach Kubish, I'm Hernan Salas. Keep it locked here. We'll chat tomorrow. Enjoy the game.